going to send this to you, but it's imperative you do not look at slide number 2.
Okay. I will not look at slide number 2.
Do not look at slide number 2.
Okay. I will not look at slide number 2. Okay, we have audio. All right.
Sending
On
now
Google?
via Google. Do not look at slide number 2.
Okay. And you want this to be something that's displayed on screen?
Yeah, if we can do that. If we can do that.
You know what? I'm a genius. Certified genius. That sensitivity is can'ts. Straight can'ts. We have dings going all over the place right now.
What's that mean?
Just when you plug shit in.
People viewing us?
No, I doubt it.
Sweet.
I doubt it.
Not,
one watching now, it's me.
Once I get this Twitter going on, it's gonna.
Oh yeah, it's gonna blow up.
Fucking blow up. Send me the link. You already did, didn't you?
Well, I don't know. This might be This might not be the same link. Actually, check that.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how to make the reminder. I thought if you started live streaming on the same account, it would immediately forward that.
So I need a new link then?
Yeah, I'll send it to you. How do you like pumpkin?
I enjoy it. It's very good. Whoa. Inception.
Okay, open in slides. All right, so don't look at number 2.
Do not look at number 2.
All right, I don't want to look.
Don't look at number 2. I mean, now you know the gimmick.
I know the gimmick.
You can see the first slide.
But I can see it from here.
Well, if you present it in full screen mode, then you can't.
Okay.
There's a present button over there.
Where?
Up here in the top right.
I'm not wearing my glasses.
Present. Yeah, right.
Am I close? Right here?
That one.
Okay. That's fucking hilarious. It's really funny.
I'm playing Who's That Quarterback?
I love it. I love it so much. All right. What was I again? Oh, yeah. Okay, so yeah, I can give it one of these when I'm ready. Not yet, though. Right here. This. Top. All right. I need to start pulling up some information here. If you want to, should we send the link yet for the pre-show?
I'm gonna tweet it out
This is
right
pretty,
now. I'm gonna tweet it out.
It's pretty janky right now. Where are my fucking glasses? Sounds pretty dang good. It's like podcast quality right now.
Who had the most incompletions last week? No, don't answer that question. Who's just really bad? I'm gonna tweet out a
Quarterbacks?
Yeah. Pick one you want to make fun of. I'm gonna tweet at him.
I mean, Dalton's playing tonight, and he had a shit week, so just make it a Dalton.
All right.
He deserves to get a little bit shitted on.
And people can, like, message us and stuff live?
Yeah, they can chat.
Sweet.
Slight delay, but only 10 or 15 seconds. I look fat. Stop looking so fat. It's been a while since I've been on camera. There's a couple faces made for podcasting.
You know it. That's what I tweeted, Andy.
Nice, dude. Got him. Got him.
We're going to get Andy to watch this right before the game.
Maybe this will give him the push that he needs to become a great quarterback. I'm going to let you drive the show today.
Oh, God, don't do that.
You're the host, the main host after all. I'm just the producer.
I don't like that one bit. Do you have any idea who that is, by the way?
I mean,
Don't.
I'm not going to guess, but I'm just very confused by the, like,
Good.
tassels.
Good.
I don't even know what that is. I don't know what that would be.
Good. All right, what do we got here? So what's going to be the basic structure here? We need to talk about last year.
Yeah.
Who won?
Talk about two new owners.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Some rule changes, maybe.
Did we have any rule changes?
Just the injury rule change.
Okay. What do we change about that? Oh,
You used to
per.
get 10 points
That's right.
automatically, and now it's 2 points per
That's right.
quarter.
It's positive rule change.
I like it.
Obviously, recap the week. We do that every time. Possible predictions.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we could do that at the end.
And talk about the next week. Like predictions for the whole season or for the week?
We could just do, like, I was just listening to some of the stuff we said on the first episode from last year, and we just, like, briefly talked about some predictions that we had for the year.
Okay.
Like, that's what is in this notepad document.
Cool.
You were just shitting on Aaron pretty hard, which is pretty funny.
Well, Aaron didn't do so well, if I remember correctly.
No, Aaron finished dead last.
No way.
Yeah.
So I got that right.
He finished dead last, taking a 0 in the final week.
I got that right.
What an idiot. Yeah, this is live. You heard me. Aaron.
Is someone listening?
No one's. It's just me.
You need to tell me. You need to relay when people.
Oh, wait. I'm logged into the wrong account. That would be confusing. Well, you can see the chat if you pull the stream up, but I can also relay it to you.
Okay, I'll bring it up.
I got plenty of internet to spare. Switch accounts.
Where's the chat on here? Oh, right next to it. Live chat. Pop out chat. Oh, perfect.
Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay. 3-set flop account gets a crown. That's dope.
Okay.
That was Drew, Alex, Brian.
Last year,
Wait, didn't Brian win it last year?
Drew did.
Why did I think Brian did?
I don't think Brian's won it yet.
He hasn't because
It was me.
you won it, then I won it, then Drew won
And
it.
Drew. This is season 4.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's kind of crazy.
That is crazy. Was the first year like a half year? Did we start on time?
I don't think we started at the beginning of the year. I think we started like a couple weeks in because
I think you're right.
it was like in the middle of September, I think. So maybe just like 2 weeks in. All right.
Sucks we're both at the bottom of the draft this week.
That's what you get for being good at this game.
Yep. I need to bring up the Yahoo page. Your team name's great, by the way.
Thank you. I've done musical puns every year. I did Picky Six the first year off of Nikki Six. Then I did what did I do?
We can talk about this during the podcast.
Well, I got to remember what I did the second year. It was some rapper. Fuck. What was it? Wait, I can just look that up, can't I? It's still in here. Oh yeah, Lord Pretty Flacco Joey. That's right. And then Braca Flocka Flame. And I wanted to try to put XXX Tentacion in there. And it's very well, yeah. Let's save this for the podcast.
We'll save it.
We don't want to get any of this given away in the pre-show. We wouldn't want to.
We'll save it
do something like that.
For all you diehard fans listening right now.
Which is 2 people, which is me and you. Which is dope.
I'm gonna screenshot who everyone took last week, so it'll be easier to just bring that up. And then we can do what we did kind of last year. I can tell you who
Pick 2, and I can look up the stats.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have the results from last week here.
And boy, were we bad at betting this week.
Oh god, dude. Terrible. But Austin made sure to let us know that he was 2-1.
Well, the one that he nominated that was in our nominations lost, so.
So what does it matter?
It doesn't.
Did you have to download the Pokemon font for that?
Yep. I got a picture of the quarterback, and I had to trace around him.
Oh my god.
And then duplicate the image and black that out. I blurred the edges so it would look a little cleaner. Downloaded the Pokemon background, put the stamp thing over it, which I'm not really happy how that looks, but whatever.
I think it looks pretty good for doing it quick and dirty.
But this is something I've saved it in a way. Hopefully, all I would have to do each week is outline the quarterback.
Yeah.
Not that we have to do this every week.
Is it always a quarterback who got picked?
No,
Or
it's just
any
a quarterback I
quarterback?
want to talk about.
Okay. Oh, okay, cool. So it's not just a standalone little game. It's like, I'm going to talk about this guy.
Yeah.
All right,
I've
sick.
got some points
Sick. I like that.
I want to bring up. But with this whole live thing, we can do so many different things. We can.
Yeah, I'll have to. It's gonna be janky because I'm gonna have to get good at being able to pull stuff up because it's not exactly the easiest thing. But
It would be nice to have a third person here that was in charge of
producer doing all the tech stuff. Yeah. maybe there'll be a couple weeks where Aaron will guest host and I'll do the producer stuff. Because I wouldn't mind doing that. And I'll just have a third mic that I can chime in every once in a while.
So here's a question: when people go and watch this again, are they gonna see all this right now?
All the pre-show will be in there, but we can put a link at the in the description that links to the start.
Okay.
Or
So,
no.
For any of you watching this late, fuck yourselves for not being here.
Yeah, and you won't see this because you'll just link to the start.
Fuck you. If you are watching this and you send me a text that says pineapple, I'll give you $1.
There it is. The secret. That goes back to the Tip Top 5 days.
Yep.
Aaron used to do that on Tip Top 5.
Actually, I forgot. I have a prize for this.
Oh, great.
If anyone can guess it before you, they get a coupon of their choosing.
Just one coupon?
Just one coupon.
Looking at those
We've got some
Valvoline oil change.
Oh, we've got some good options here,
That's what I want.
Do we have a Valvoline? What? God damn it.
What?
Taylor just went to Valvoline. We didn't use
You
this.
idiot. That's what they bank on with those coupon books.
Well, I didn't buy this. They were given to me.
Oh. That's nice.
But we've got Annie Ann's, Papa John's, Jets, Snappy Tomato. We got it all. Choose a coupon, man.
I do not like Jets.
I'm not the biggest Jets fan either.
I mean, I'll eat it.
You're kind of picky about your pizzas.
I am. I there's not a lot of pizza that I just like sort of think is okay. It's either like I like it or I don't.
I'll eat anything, any pizza, anytime, anywhere.
Little Caesars.
I had a whole medium La Rosa's last night.
La Rosa's.
Well,
Little Caesars, dude.
La Rosa's.
I like La Rosa's now.
Little Caesars used to be fantastic.
It's shit.
It used to be good.
It tastes like there's frozen pizza I would rather have.
Oh, definitely. There's some good frozen pizza out there.
Yeah. Even like I buy like Red Baron, which is like not expensive, and it's solid being frozen pizza.
We got like a large one from Aldi's for like $5, and it was great.
What brand was it?
I don't know, Taylor. It wasn't like a big one. You know, it's Aldi's.
You know, Donato's sells them now, frozen pizzas.
Really?
Yeah, but they're like $9. Like they're just like the price of a fucking pizza.
Well, not a Donato's pizza. Donato's pizza.
Oh, true. They're a little more expensive, like $15.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Donato's is not cheap.
It's worth it though.
They're
so
good.
Fucking good.
They're
my
good.
god. They're in my top 3 probably.
I'm a big fan.
SDS though from Oxford, that's the fucking tip top.
Is it really?
Best pizza ever.
Best pizza used to be a pizza from Ohio State that is no longer a pizza place anymore. They just turned the whole thing into a bar called Formaggio's.
Yeah, you've told me about them.
So good. So good.
Yeah, that's I think Cincinnati is lacking in like local pizza. I mean, it's funny to say that since we have La Rosa's and Donato's, which I guess Donato's is local, right?
Columbus.
But still, like, It's not a national chain. But like, there's no like pizza place downtown. Well, I mean, Toppers is good, but it's not like crazy.
I like Toppers a lot, but it is kind of a second tier.
Yeah, it's not really like, oh fuck, we're going to Toppers, dude. Let's get some Toppers.
When I'm drunk, that's how I feel.
Well, yeah.
Drunk,
well, yeah, and I guess we have like Goodfellas that's like drunk pizza though.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't necessarily order Goodfellas like
to
bring home. It's only when I'm drunk, and it's like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m.
Yeah. But whenever I go on like a business trip to Indy, they have Toppers there, and I order Toppers, and just a 6-pack in Toppers, and like just play video games in my room.
Well,
it's
yeah,
the best shit ever.
I think Toppers is a little underrated.
But is Toppers a Cincinnati thing?
I don't know. I thought it was, but I could be making that up. Illinois.
Gotcha.
So still Midwest. There's that place up at Clifton that's really good that I'm blanking on the name of. It's not important. Doesn't matter.
There's lots of small pizza places that are just fine.
It's hard to have bad pizza.
Yeah.
Like that is you got to try.
Yeah.
To have bad. I mean, like
and You don't know it's bad pizza until about 10 minutes after you're done.
It's usually the post eating feeling that is how you can tell. Because like that's how Papa John's makes me feel sometimes.
If I get their barbecue sauce, I can't. For something about their barbecue sauce, just tears me up, destroys me.
That I think the barbecue sauce is the least of my worries when it comes to Papa John's.
No, it's their barbecue.
I just ate way too much Papa John's in college when I was hammered and felt like shit the next day, mostly because of the alcohol. But now I associate like feeling like shit with Papa John's because I ate it like all the time when I was drunk.
I can see that.
Domino's though, I fuck with Domino's.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't.
I mean, they're definitely not like if there's 4 other pizza places around, I'm probably gonna get one of the other ones. But like, I'm not one of those people that's just like no Domino's for me.
Honestly, I can't tell you the last time I had Domino's.
Like I said, not on the top of my list. If I get like a 50% off coupon where I can get like a pizza and Cinesix for like $10, then yeah, let's do it.
Let's see. This Papa John's coupon here is buy one, get one half off, large or extra large. That's not really a great deal.
What is it?
Buy one, get one half off, large.
No. Who needs 2 fucking large pizzas?
I mean,
what do you have, like 8 kids?
Throwing a party or something, or if there's 2 of me, then
I've ordered pizza for one so many times that it's just like having 2 large pizzas
right.
just like makes me want to throw up.
Well, I was one of those trips to Indy. I ordered a large toppers and topper sticks. That was a deal that they had going on, and the delivery guy came with plates and napkins. Like, showed up with plates and napkins.
That's always.
And I was like, "No, I'm good. It's just me, dude."
Whenever I go pick up a pizza and it's just for me, and they ask me if I want plates and napkins, which Donato's always asks, I just say yes because I'm not gonna. Because if you say no, they're like, "Oh, fuck,
I'd say
dude."
no, and I don't give a shit.
Oh man, it makes me feel so terrible.
Not necessarily. They could think that, oh, he's got plates at home. You know.
Who puts pizza on like regular plates?
He has paper plates at home.
Why wouldn't I just get free paper plates though?
I don't know. Okay.
He's definitely assuming, oh, this fuck's going home to eat this whole pizza by himself. 100%.
Snappy tomatoes. Buy any large specialty and get a large one topping free. Whoa. I mean, still 2 larges.
That's still 2 pizzas.
Yeah.
I need like a pizza, buy a pizza and get a free side.
Then you gonna do that.
That's what we want. That's the ticket.
Then you gonna do that. Buy 3 White Castles and get 3 free. There you go. That's
free.
real.
That's free diarrhea for a day and a half.
Yeah.
Dude, oh my god. I came home from some when was that? I think I was really late over at Aaron's place a few weeks ago. And the only place that was open when I was coming home. Yeah, it was Thursday when Riquet was here. The only place that was open when I was coming home was like 3 a.m. was White Castle, and I fucking got it like an idiot, and I felt sick all day the next day. Just like the worst kind of sick.
Brian wants to know how. Yeah, you've got it. YouTube comments. They don't have a live chat section.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, ignore that.
All right, a couple more minutes. We can get this rolling.
I think we gotta wait till 5:30. Our fans.
Do we wait till 5:30?
Our fans demand.
I'm definitely getting another beer before we start.
Me too.
You get 2 of those pumpkins. That's turd in your pants, big time, baby.
I'm fine. My stomach is used to just any beer that goes in. It's gonna be fine.
I'm gonna be a little disappointed if more people don't join to watch this.
If it's just Brian. Yeah. Me too.
Fucking set all this shit up.
Yeah, well, we sprung it on him today.
True.
I know Marianne's not. She's got something to do. And Tom's probably coming home from work.
Austin hasn't said much in the group me, so he might be working today.
Taylor might watch it. Maybe.
No, she won't.
Maybe. If
She'll turn it on for like 2 minutes and then turn it off. Oh, they're talking about Blake Bortles. I'm out of here.
Are you there, Taylor? Can you hear me?
Type racial slurs in the chat if you're there, Taylor. That's what people do on the internet now. Did you see that PewDiePie thing, dude? Holy shit,
I don't
man.
keep up with him, man.
This is like huge,
That's
though.
not-
This is
Why?
huge.
It's always huge.
Because he said the N-word on stream.
Oh, that's who. Okay, so I saw on Reddit.
I told
saw-
you,
I
yeah.
saw an apology, and I was like, "Who the hell is this guy?"
PewDiePie. You don't know who PewDiePie is?
No, dude.
He has 56 million
No,
subscribers.
I don't.
He's the biggest YouTuber in the
I
world.
don't care. I really don't care.
He said the N-word on stream.
Cool.
He called a guy the N-word. And then right after he said it, he was like, "Oh, sorry. I mean, what a fucking asshole." So he like literally just reaffirmed the fact that he was using it as an insult.
Yeah.
And basically,
But that's obvious, though, right? If he was like, "Oh, I mean, what a scholar."
well, yeah, yeah. I mean, it is obvious, but it kind of makes it worse when he says it like that.
What I meant to say was this man is very intellectual and he knows what he's talking about, and
That would have been an amazing save.
it's pretty obvious. If you're using that N-word, you don't mean it as a compliment.
Well, in the context that he used it, yes, for sure. He really did. That was a bad move. Especially since all this stuff happened a few months ago with the Wall Street Journal writing that article about him. I'm sure I told you about that when it was going on, but you don't remember.
Whatever. I don't care about him.
It's interesting.
How are my vocal
Internet
levels?
culture.
If
the Wall Street Journal writing that article about him, I'm sure I told you about that when it was going on, but you don't remember. Whatever.
I gotta go up.
It's interesting.
I gotta go up.
You don't have to yell. You just have to get close to
gotta
the
be
mic.
louder.
I'm used to this is how I voice chat on PC games. And I'm like swallowing the mic.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't wear a headset or anything?
No, I fucking hate headsets.
Really? Because do you wear glasses a lot?
No, I don't.
Oh.
I just don't like. I like using my speakers, and I like not having shit on my face and shit.
By the way, I hit my career high today. I'm at 30. I was before I lost a couple games. I was at 34.
Brian joined. Yeah, I think he came in during the N-word conversation. Sorry, Brian. We were talking. Sorry, go on. What were you saying?
I'm at 34-22 right now.
God damn, dude. You're almost in, and isn't 35 the next, what is that?
Masters.
Master? Dude, that's fucking sick, man.
I'm starting to play with top 500 people. People who were at one time top 500.
That's nuts.
It's crazy.
Good for you, dude. That's great. I one day aspire to be that high. I am climbing, though.
Good.
Ever since I got pulled out of bronze, I'm climbing. I'm up to 1850 now.
Nice.
Which I know that's to Mr.
know,
35. It's a lot.
No,
No, I'm not even gonna say that. I definitely respect you for being that high, regardless of the platform. But like I've been saying for so long, all it took for me was to get out of bronze, and all of a sudden, boom! Literally, I got out of bronze. I won my next 8 games.
Really?
No joke. Like, just went on an 8-game winning streak because like people in silver actually have some concept of like team
You
comp.
should see the people in diamond.
Oh,
man.
God.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I bet they're just like
It's crazy.
fucking ragers.
Cody just texted me the other day. He's like, I can't stand this Overwatch shit, man. It's driving me nuts.
Is he playing it?
Yeah, he plays every now and then.
What is he at?
I don't know. It's not great, but
You can't play with him, I assume.
no.
Yeah.
No. All right, let's get one more beer before.
Okay. All right, loyal viewers.
We'll be back after these.
We're going to grab another beer.
Simple Rick.
What?
Simple Rick. Right after these messages from Simple Rick.
Who's that?
Do you watch Rick and Morty?
Yeah.
Did you see the most recent episode?
No, I haven't watched the recent ones.
Well,
I just know about Pickle Rick.
Pickle Rick. I'm Pickle Rick. We'll be right back.
All right, give me a beer.
Overcooked is great, Brian.
I got to try this Overcooked
It's so great.
game.
I'll get you one.
Get me a Rebel Juiced IPA, please. This Overcooked game I've been hearing so much about. Gator has some sort of borderline sexual obsession with it as I look it up on Steam. It looks like a children's game. Overcooked, chaotic couch co-op cooking game. That is some alliteration for you, folks. Working as a team, you and your fellow chefs must prepare, cook, and serve up a variety of tasty orders before the baying customers storm out in a huff. Baying? B-A-Y-I-N-G? What does that mean? Huh. Shout loudly, typically to demand something. I didn't know that. You learn new vocabulary from Overcooked every day. That's what I always say. We are just about to get started.
Professional pour.
Oh, whew. That's what they pay. That's why you pay the big bucks at Cincinnati State
That's what they teach you.
for that kind of pour in the Bengals glass, of course, in honor of
Look at
Thursday
that
Night
pour.
Football. I feel like I need to do one last thing.
You've got 1 minute to do it. We start on time here at the 3-step flop. No. Get it out.
The red rifle.
Get it out. I'm done with your shit.
This is the most
I'm already done.
topical, and this just makes the most sense out of anything to
This
wear.
will be a big talking point tonight, I'm sure.
This is all eyes are on this man right here.
All right, do we have anyone else viewing besides Brian, please? Someone?
We had a fourth viewer for a hot second, but they clearly checked out
It was probably Andy Dalton.
quickly. Yeah, it was Andy
tweeted
Dalton.
At him. Brian,
Yeah, everybody tweet at Andy Dalton and tell him to join the stream.
tell him we're watching. Brian, I think you still follow the 3-step flop Twitter. It's active again. Tweeting out some hot jokes.
Some hot takes, hot jokes.
Hot tunas. All right, it's 5:30. You know what that means. Cheers. And y'all can see us cheers tonight
to a new season.
because we're live for the first time ever. The 3-step flop is live. My name is Gator Strand.
And I am Tony DeLatel.
Now we can't hide any of the off-screen cues.
No, this is going to be all uncut, which I prefer because I don't have to do jack shit when this is done. I don't have to.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's good because there were times when we would record it and it would take me a while to get it edited and put back up.
No.
Now it's just out to the world. So any sort of mistakes or potential racial slurs that may be uttered are going to
There's
be
gonna be
unfiltered.
lots.
That's how I am. That's why it takes me so long to edit.
Right.
I got to cut out all those N-words.
You know what I'm going to miss is your intro, your music.
I will miss the intro. I was listening to that the other day. I'm very proud of that intro, but I think having the interaction with the rest of the league / any fans of the league who are maybe watching, I think
Brian.
I think that outweighs the intro probably.
Agreed.
So
And Brian or anyone else who's listening out there, we encourage you to chat us and give us your input while we go, and we'll roll off the tongue. We'll just go with it.
yeah, and it's going to be hopefully less structured and more fun. And also, when the stream's over, it'll be available to watch after. So if you can't make it during the time we're streaming, you can always watch it afterwards, which
they don't.
Of course you would.
Right. You're not going to hear that if you're not listening.
Right. So that's kind of
irrelevant.
Okay. Well, all right. Thanks.
Moving on.
Appreciate it, co-host.
All right. We've got two new owners this year in the league. Let's everyone welcome Marianne Farley and Tom Smith. Welcome.
Welcome to both of you. So happy to make this a 12-team league, even though I was listening to some previous episodes of this podcast, and I made a note to say that having more than 10 players was not a good idea. And I actually said that in one of our podcasts last year.
I remember that.
I said that 12 league owners was too much just because of it would make those last two picks very difficult. But as I've had a year to reflect, I now have changed my mind about that. I think the more people you have in the league, the better. And I think that you could potentially go up to 32, honestly.
I mean,
as difficult as that would be.
And it's kind of a good segue. It's a little earlier than I wanted to bring it up, but I think we're learning as a league to pick differently than we used to in the past, and we're finally getting how this scoring works.
Yeah.
Although we've been going through this for almost 4 seasons now.
Yeah.
We're finally understanding that a quarterback who isn't going to throw is not going to give you points, no matter how bad they are.
Right.
There are undrafted quarterbacks every week who score a significant amount of points that you didn't see coming because they're a good name. They're a household name, you know?
Yeah, they're like, for example, I think a good example of that is someone like Carson Palmer. I know that he does get picked sometimes, but he consistently has finished at the top of the year-long standings just because of the volume of throws that he makes. He's going to make mistakes. Incompletions, obviously, are something that I think is overlooked by a lot of people in this league. if you have 20 to 25 incompletions, that's a great baseline
Huge.
for a huge day.
I think that's the most underrated statistic that we have is incompletions.
Could not agree
you
more.
get a point for every single incompletion. Sure, interceptions and pick sixes are big money makers, but they're nearly impossible to predict.
Yeah.
And
Well, unless Scott Tolzien's playing,
right,
which we'll of course talk about.
we will. But I think we're gonna start seeing some riskier picks at the top of the draft because the top of the draft typically goes for those brand name shitty players.
Yeah, I think that's true because interestingly, like in a regular fantasy league, usually the first 3 to 4 picks of the draft, you kind of know how it's going to go. If this guy picks this guy, I'm going to take this guy. But in this league, I think you can be a little more creative with those top picks because it's not always so obvious as to, I mean, you have to look at defenses. You have to look at the amount that each team throws.
Cast,
yeah. And offensive line, which of course has been a huge storyline in the first week of the season. So so many more reasons why I enjoy this league more than any other fantasy league that I've been in.
Brian says hashtag PPI, which I believe means points per
incompletion. Yes, thank you, Commish.
League.
We appreciate your support of the live stream right off the bat.
Right.
I will just let you know, I will enable monetization if you want to throw a little dollars my way, since I am providing this service to you. I feel like the league should know that there is monetization. If you donate, your comment goes to the top, which is important since we have such a huge volume of comments that yours could get drowned out in the mix. If you donate money, your comment is a super chat, which means that it goes to the top and I'll be able to see it.
We need sponsors. So. We need to do plugs.
Yeah. Yes. Maybe like we could get Dollar Shave Club on board. I think a lot of podcasts have that, or like Quip, which is a toothbrush company. Yeah, Quip, they're always on there. Audible.com. They sponsor a lot of podcasts.
We need a Natty Light, like a really shitty beer to be our official beer.
I think Keystone should be the go-to. I saw a huge billboard going down 75 the other day that just said grab some stones, and it was a giant Keystone can, and that really made me want to go buy a case.
Speaking of beer billboards, I saw one going down 75 that said it was Natty Light, and then there was a Miller Light in the background. It said spelled right because it's brewed right, and then it said spelling bee champion on the Natty Light can. And I was like, that's brilliant.
That's great.
That's hilarious.
These like low-class beer companies have just completely accepted their demographic.
Right. And I love to see macros go after other macros.
Yeah. Please, don't be like Budweiser and go after microbreweries. Like, nothing pissed me off more than that commercial about peach. Grab your peach lager. I'll have a fucking Budweiser.
Right.
Like, dude, come on.
Right.
Get real. I would draft Budweiser first pick in the bag quarterback league.
All right, let's get into last year.
Brian says he'll give us 50% of all revenue from the pod. We appreciate it, but that seems like a call that you're not allowed to make. I think I deserve 100% of revenue from the pod.
The three-step flop, although reporting on the Bad Quarterback League is not
affiliated. It is a totally unaffiliated podcast.
It's not owned by the league.
Right.
We are a third-party independent.
We are not bound by any sort of rules external from us two.
Exactly. We can do whatever the fuck we want.
Just for clarification.
Okay. Let's talk about last year. So, Tony, who was our grand champion of last year?
I would love to congratulate Mr. Drew Staley as champion of the 2016 Bad Quarterback League.
Few of us have met him. Those of us who have not wonder if he's even real.
Yeah, and you know what? I can confirm that he is real because
you just met him
not
recently.
2 weeks ago, me and Drew met for the first time after so many back and forths in the group me throughout the last 2 seasons. And I got to say, it was everything that I hoped it would be. And Drew is a great guy, and I'm happy that he is the one who won the league last year.
Yeah. He's a solid guy.
I think he clearly used his superior sports and football knowledge to rise above the rest of this league. Let's not pretend that there isn't a gap between some of the people in this league as far as knowledge goes.
Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that Aaron has the lowest amount of intelligence as far as football goes in this league. So Drew was able to to not, I don't even want to say overcome, because there wasn't much to overcome. He just had the knowledge there. He did his job. He came to work every Sunday and fucking put a great season together. He won by a narrow margin of 9 points over Peyton's neck, which is Alex Evdicke. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Kamish Action Jackson's was not too far behind. So, you know, kind of the usual.
How far was Brian behind?
Brian was at 248 and Alex was at 266. So he was about 18 points behind second place.
Okay. Our league average each week last year was 12.15 points. So if that gives you any sort of basis of how many weeks behind someone was.
So about 2 weeks behind.
Yeah.
A little bit more than 2 weeks for the leader. But definitely a tight race there at the end. Drew actually scored 32 points in the final week to bring home the crown.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I'm not exactly sure who he started in the final week. That's some deep stats that I don't think I have access to. But he was able to. Scrolling. It appears that he was able to leapfrog Alex in the final week of the season for the victory. So congratulations. Coming from a winner of the league myself, and you also know this, it's really an indescribable feeling.
Congrats to the club.
Yeah, I mean, welcome to the elite Hall of Winners, which hopefully will someday become the Hall of Fame. Which, when I solidify my second championship this season, I think that will.
Are we getting into predictions already?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that when that does happen, that will help solidify my plaque on the Bad QB Wall of Fame. So.
Well, speaking of predictions, let's talk about what we thought last year. Tony recently went back and listened to the very first episode from last year.
Yes.
Very first episode of the podcast in general. And we had some predictions. I was pretty off on some of them.
Yeah.
And Tony was pretty solid.
I was almost psychic, you could say. There's a lot of things that I was okay. So some of Gator's predictions. He was very high on the females in this league last year. He predicted that the two girls in the league who were in the league last year would finish number 2 and number 3.
And girls, you let me down.
You did.
You let me down
because unfortunately. I think we had Gator Banks Corgis finished in 9th last season. And Lauren was...
Nope, that's Lauren.
Oh.
Yep.
Taylor ASAP Korg finished 8th. So you were correct that they would finish right next to each other. But unfortunately, you were way off in the standings.
I see we have Aaron in the chat now.
Is Aaron in the chat?
Speaking of my one prediction that came true.
Yes. You did predict that Aaron would finish last, and you were dead on.
That's right. Fuck you, Aaron.
I
am talking shit.
Aaron finished dead last, and I do emphasize dead last because he was about 52 points behind the person in front of him. So Aaron would have needed like 4 straight weeks of solid play to climb out of last place. And it's interesting because Aaron has a lot of hubris around his fantasy prowess. Mm-hmm. And he loves to remind people that he's such a great fantasy player, and he has the same name, Jose's Mustaches, that he uses across all fantasy sports, which used to be something that was feared.
Right.
But now with last year...
adored that name, but we aren't afraid of it here in the bag.
I mean, why would you be at this point? I think it's very clear that Aaron's got a lot to make up for this season. And I want to say, before we get to any of the other predictions, we did talk about were we not going to talk about our new owners in the league this year? Or I don't want to derail things.
No, go ahead. Yeah, we mentioned them.
Did we mention? Okay, I wasn't sure if we had covered both of the new owners. Or not.
Yeah, we did. Right.
Okay, I'm sorry. My apologies. Guys, it's episode 1. We're still in preseason form.
We're working.
Okay, I know it's week 2 starting tonight, but we're still in preseason form. My apologies for derailing things. So let's talk about some more predictions. So
Tony's last year.
Okay, so Tony had a couple predictions. I had a prediction that Matt Ryan would regress. That was incorrect.
Yeah,
Matt Ryan had an
really
amazing season last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was probably his best season ever.
Yep. So you're very right.
So we can move right on past that one. I also predicted that Jared Goff would be bad and throw more picks than touchdowns. Now, I was correct, but I don't want to pat myself on the back too much for that prediction because he's a rookie quarterback on a terrible team. a lot of rookies throw more interceptions than touchdowns.
Right.
So not really going out on a limb
So
there.
moving on again.
Moving on once again. I predicted that Drew would lead for a majority of the year and would finish in second, behind
close,
Austin.
real close.
So I was close on that prediction.
Not close on the Austin.
Correct. I wasn't close on Austin's prediction, but I think Austin ran into a lot of bad luck last season, and we talked about it frequently. If you go and listen back to in the backlog of podcasts, we almost were constantly giggling about how much bad luck Austin had.
It's still just, it's great. Speaking of Austin's bad luck, we had an unusual draft this year. Austin was in attendance, and Sully, my dog, picked our draft order.
Yes, which you can view that video in the group me if you're so inclined.
Lo and behold, no matter how many times we tried to get Sully to pick Austin's Cup without knowing it was Austin's Cup, he just avoided that shit.
And if you have a keen ear, you can see when the last cup is about to be picked, Austin actually says, "I bet that's mine."
He knew it the whole time,
and he was correct. So Austin's prediction was his first prediction of the year was right. So that's already off to a good start. Now, I just want to jump back to the chat real quick because we do have some activity going on there. Aaron claims that Jose's mustaches is a Hall of Famer. Brian agrees he's a first ballot greatest of all time. Aaron wants to remind us that all the way back in 2015, he won the football, baseball, and basketball fantasy championships. Now, I can't even remember anything about 2015. It seems such distant past. I've grown so much as a person.
And he's already talking shit.
He says that we should keep moving on so the podcast would end. I honestly don't know how to respond to that. To get just an influx of negativity in the chat. What should I expect from the internet? This is how people behave on the internet.
This is coming from our ex co-host. Never
co-host.
gonna happen again.
Ex banned for life.
All right, moving on.
What are we going to next year?
Should we start talking about this year? Should we?
Yeah. Let's transition to this season.
Let's do that. So, all right, here's Aaron again.
All right, you're a cuck. All right, there you go. You got what you wanted.
All right, here we go. So,
donate $5 to become not a cuck anymore.
Last week, the draft order. We started off with Brian, who took Joshua Pound Town McCown.
Pound Town McCown, great nickname,
and definitely going to be one of the top 4 drafted every week.
I mean, Josh McCown should honestly, as much as I love the league images that Brian has chosen over the years, I think having just Josh McCown's player shot as the league image would just tell you all you need to know.
He's iconic.
He's such a he is the Aaron Rodgers of the bad quarterback league. Like, Aaron Rodgers is to a regular league what Josh McCown is to the bad quarterback league. Just constantly just going to get you a solid game, probably 20-plus points.
Elite.
He's elite. He is elite.
In our league.
He is elite. So elite.
I still think we need to collectively buy a McCown jersey.
Oh, my God, yes. The McCown jersey framed should be the trophy for the league.
The trophy, yeah. You either the trophy or the loser, the last place has to wear it every single Sunday. Those are the,
I like
those
that
are the
too.
2 options.
Comment in the chat what you think. What we should do with the McCown jersey.
Let's poll the crowd.
I'm sure I can go on one of those Chinese websites and get an obscure McCown jersey, like not even a Browns one, like some team that he played like Cavaliers a couple games,
like not even
a Columbus Blue Jackets McCown jersey. They're out there, I'm sure.
Oh, that would be fantastic. So how'd McCown do last week? What we got?
Joshua McCown.
It looks like Brian scored 17.26 points.
Okay, and that's fourth. And what did you say the average was?
Of this week?
No, just last year.
Last year was 12, about 12.
Okay, so and I've said this many times on podcasts before that in this league, it's not necessarily important to have huge weeks where you get 50 or 60 points, although that's nice. But it's very important that you just have you score points like a consistent amount every single week, and you don't have those like negative weeks.
And even that 17 is over this week's average of 16.
Yeah, so I mean, you should be happy with that. Josh McCown was sort of accurate which is interesting for the New York Jets, probably going to be the worst team in the league. He was 26 for 39, 187, no touchdowns, 2 picks. He only was sacked once. So that you need more incompletions and you need more sacks out of McCown. Now the danger with McCown, and you could call it a danger or you could call it, a plus, is that he seems to be an injury risk. Now I forget who it was who shared that article in the group me, but he actually has an incentive to.
That was me.
Okay, so he gets an extra $250K or 125K.
125K, yeah.
Now what I wanted to say to that. So for those of you who don't know, Josh McCown gets $125,000 for every game that he is healthy and starting for. Is that right?
Yes.
So my issue with that contract stipulation is that I don't think that that's really up to him. I don't think that it's necessarily anything he can really do
not at all.
to stay healthy.
Because somehow he's going to get injured.
Now, to be fair, he could not dive headfirst into the end zone and get helicoptered. That would probably help him.
But McCown is a tough dude, man. That guy is resilient.
He is tough, and
which makes him great. He's going to stay in the game for you and going to throw one more pick.
Yes, and that's what you really want. Like, as much as the new injury.
Yes, let's talk about that.
Perfect segue into the new injury rule. Why don't you give a little synopsis?
Yeah, so the only new rule that we have this season, which I think everyone seems to be in agreement of, is last year we got 10 points if your quarterback got injured, no matter what.
Yeah, and
we had some controversy because that doesn't necessarily measure a bad quarterback, but at times it kind of does because your quarterback isn't protecting himself and. But the way we modified that this year is depending on what quarter you go out, you get 2 points for every quarter that he gets out. So in the first, if he goes out in the first, you get 8 points.
Right.
If he goes out in the last, you get 2 points. You can do the math from there. What do we got here in the chat? Okay. We'll answer that question.
That's an interesting question. We'll address that in just a minute. So yeah, for it's kind of interesting because you don't necessarily like. The way I look at it is I never really like to root for people to get injured, just from a moral standpoint since I'm such a good guy.
Yeah.
But now with this new rule change, it's like if I draft Josh McCown, yes, I'm going to get 8 points if he gets injured on the first play of the game. But I know he's capable of putting up more points than that.
Mm-hmm.
So I want him to stay healthy for as long as possible to throw as many interceptions and incompletions as possible.
But it's also this nice safety. If your quarterback does go and get injured in the first quarter, you're not stuck with 0 points.
Right, I like that too.
You'll probably end up with 8, which isn't great.
At least it keeps you above water,
right?
So where you're not feeling like you're totally screwed if somebody gets injured on the first play.
Right. Now, speaking of rules, you last week benefited from our benching rule.
Yes.
Of 10 points if your player gets benched.
Yes.
Which is definitely a measure of if you're a bad quarterback.
I think that is what this league is all about, personally.
Right. But you got the luckiest timing of that bench in the fourth quarter when he was already done. He already scored all his points. You got an extra 10 points out of nowhere and took first last week.
Yeah, and I got to say, it felt damn good. And I knew that Sunday, as bad as the Bengals game was, the 4 o'clock game started, and Scott Tolzien on his very first attempt threw a pick six. And if there is any indication, is that how my season is going to go? I mean, holy shit! You gotta like that. You gotta like the first pass attempt being a pick six.
Yeah, that was a really good start because we all thought Marianne ran away with it last week.
Yes.
We thought she had it all.
Yes.
But let's answer Aaron's question here.
Of course. Let's go back to the chat.
Aaron says, if our league members were quarterbacks, who would be the worst? I already know my first round pick. I already know, and Aaron should know himself.
And who is it?
It's Aaron.
Yeah, I agree. Because Aaron finished in last year.
He finished in last.
So how can you say anybody else?
Because Aaron will not let his emotions, will not let go of his emotions. He drafts a Brown quarterback every single week, no matter who they're going up against or how they're doing. Which I'm not saying a Browns quarterback is a bad idea, but Brian will tell you every week it is a bad idea.
Right.
But that's Brian's bias getting in the way.
That's true, and there's a lot of forces at play here.
But I feel actual quarterbacks. What do you? Oh, you mean if we were playing? Aaron means if we were playing football. Aaron means if we were playing football. Who would be
actually,
the worst?
like football. Like,
my answer's still Aaron.
So if we okay, yeah, yes, he says. All right, I don't like the patronizing chat that we're getting right now, but
Aaron's all over.
I think that's unfair because we all know that women aren't as strong and athletic as men. So it's going to be easy to pick one of the three women who are in this league.
Oh wow, Tony! Wow.
Oh, is that politically incorrect?
Wow.
Is that too politically incorrect for you guys? Sorry,
Wow.
it's called reality. All right, it's called reality.
Wow.
Sorry to break it to your. Sorry to shatter your world.
I'm still going, Aaron. Aaron's gonna get benched first quarter.
All right, fair enough.
Fourth quarter. Aaron's gonna get benched in the fourth quarter for being.
I mean, look at it this way, Aaron. You'll get picked first for the first time in your life.
Oh, boom roasted.
Got him.
Boom roasted.
Got him.
All right, moving on to the second pick this week. Wow, that was a long time on Brian there. We're going with Tom, who on his first attempt at picking a team name misspelled his quarterback and said Srubba-Dub-Dub Bortles.
Yeah, which, I got to say, Tom, it's not the worst nickname in the world. I'd have no problems with the nickname, but you can't typo.
You can't typo.
It's such a crucial, I would excuse a typo in a regular conversation over text or in the group me, but when you're picking your quarterback, it's so crucial to get your point across.
Look it over, read it, check it twice. You're Santa Claus, all right?
You got to do better, Tom.
And I would have liked to seen Blake Scrubba-Dub-Dub Bortles.
Isn't that what he said?
No, he just said Srubba-Dub-Dub Bortles. No Blake.
Oh, you got to put Blake in there.
No Blake.
We don't know which Bortles you're talking about. Maybe you're drafting his dad.
Right.
Or his brother.
Exactly. And if you're going to replace a name, I want to see a pun. I want to see a pun in there. Like, does Bortles swim a lot? I don't know.
No, I don't think that is necessarily necessary. I think it's okay to not have a pun. I think Scrubba-Dub-Dub is just fine. But that's my own personal preference.
Fair enough.
So Blake Bortles, in a runaway blowout for the Jags, just embarrassing the Houston Texans at home, 29-7. Blake Bortles was 11 for 21 for 125, a touchdown, no picks, no sacks.
No picks is surprising. I mean, I was really surprised by this. I'm honest. When he took Bortles, I was upset because I was going to take Bortles. I thought Houston, after the hurricane was going to come out, I thought J.J. Watt himself was just going to be the defense.
Yeah, he would be a hurricane.
Right.
For the offensive line.
It didn't happen.
It's a real shame. It's a real shame for J.J. Watt and the Houston Texans to let down an entire state, an entire nation. I don't know how you want to put it. But that's okay because Florida got theirs a few days after. So I guess they're even on hurricanes now.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
Yeah, but so the Jags had the running game working. They gave it to that rookie Fournette. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, I think so.
26 times, 100 yards. Chris Ivory got 9 carries for 42 yards, so they were running the ball just fine.
Which that goes back to why we can't pick bad quarterbacks who are just going to run the ball. You're not going to see any sort of gain.
And if you've seen Blake Bortles play for 2 years and you're the coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, you're running the ball.
Yeah, right.
Because
exactly.
we all know how good he's been.
All right, let's move on to Alex, who chose Deshaun Fresh Meat Kaiser.
Oh, little Browns QB action.
I like the fresh meat, but Kaiser roll. Give me something there. Give me something.
See, now
there.
you're spoiling a pun for maybe
Take
a pick
it.
in the
It's
future.
free use.
The Browns played, I think, a lot better than a lot of people were expecting.
Yeah.
They held their own against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
We bet on Pittsburgh to
that
beat
was
the spread.
One of our 2 bets.
That we lost on.
I was totally. I wasn't super happy with that bet. I myself picked Houston, so
I also picked Houston.
That but was obviously worse than this pick. But yeah, I mean, I didn't get to see a ton of this game, but Kaiser was 20 for 30 for 222, a pick, a touchdown, but 7 sacks is really what stands out there.
Yeah, that's a lot. That definitely leads to some O-line problems.
Well, how many points did that net there?
I've got it.
Do you have that handy?
Yeah, Alex got himself 15.56 points.
Okay, so
which is still pretty solid.
Yeah, I think didn't get enough incompletions and all those yards, and the touchdown really held him back. But I think that it's clear that as a first time starter and with Kaiser, he's obviously going to be a good pick going forward. I don't think that Pittsburgh's defense is as great as it has been in the past. I think that's a little bit why he saw some success. But again, Browns quarterbacks are usually a solid option.
And I think this week it's going to be another solid choice going up against the Ravens. Am I right about that?
Is that what? Let me double check here real quick.
I believe they are, and if I'm correct,
yes, sir. Yes, we saw how good the Ravens defense was. So
we saw how good the Ravens defense were, and we saw how bad the Bengals offensive line was.
I think we just saw how good the Ravens defense.
But I will say the Ravens look pretty good, and going up against the Steelers and then the Ravens, both league play, division play. It's going to be tough for the Browns. That's a tough opener.
Yeah, I don't like the NFL scheduling 2 division games right off the bat. I think it's unfair for the Browns to have to deal with that, to have to play the Steelers at home and then go on the road to Baltimore. Yeah. That's a fucking tough 2 games to start the season. I think they should at least let teams get into the swing of things before they start scheduling division games. Hint, hint, Bengals against Ravens, maybe not have that be the opener. But yeah, I mean, it's clear that the Browns are, it becomes a very important game for the Browns next week. Definitely. Or this coming week to win.
Definitely. But that being said, Deshaun Kaiser is going to be a top pick this week. I see that for sure. Let's move on. I had the next pick, and I chose Brian Hoyer.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about this nickname.
Please.
Here.
You know what it is.
I mean, I assume like voyeur in like the creepy sense.
Yeah, like
right?
A peeping Tom.
Okay,
like
so it's a negative. All right.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Funny about the nickname, we're in line at Chipotle. My pick is coming up, and I asked Taylor, how do you spell voyeur? And she's like, what does that mean? And I was like, oh yeah, you don't watch porn.
I'm on X videos right now.
Right.
I gotta.
So I had to look up how to spell voyeur, and I actually regret putting Brian Hoyer. I should have just said Brian Voyeur. I should have just made the pun the last name.
Okay, yeah, because there's no real format you have to adhere to.
No, but I should have just replaced the pun.
I mean,
it was my mistake.
Hindsight's 20/20 is what I would say.
Not my mistake picking Brian Hoyer.
Brian Hoyer was a solid pick. He was 24 for 35, got 11 incompletions there. Did not crack 200 with 193 yards, no touchdowns, an interception, 4 sacks.
He got me 25 points.
Did he fumble? I don't know. Did he? Yeah. Yes, he did. He lost a fumble, so that was also pretty helpful for you too. And the Panthers just completely destroyed the 49ers because
the Panthers is this week.
What?
They didn't play Panthers, did they?
Yeah. Oh, 23-3.
Who's this week then? Because I think he's going to be a good pick again this week.
The 49ers are up against the Seahawks this week, so yes.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
And the Seahawks got beat last week. They're at home. They're going to put the beat down on the 49ers
Yeah, their
this week,
defense
without
is
a
good
doubt.
looking this year.
Yeah.
It's good looking.
They're going to be just fine.
So Hoyer, I think, is another great pick. Now, I think he might be one of those guys, despite his 11 incompletions, I think we might see a little more run game out of them in the future.
Yeah. Carlos Hyde's a good running back, and he only got 9 carries. I assume because they were trailing for most of the game. But that's 5 yards a carry. He was 9 carries for 45 yards, so he's a good running back. But the 49ers have been really in disarray now for quite a while, in a lot of different ways. So
yeah.
I think Hoyer, while I've been sort of impressed with him in not like an elite way, but in a way that's he's a competent NFL quarterback. That's
in the same sentence as
well,
Hoyer.
I'm just clarifying, because when I say impressed, I don't mean that he's the next,
That should be a given in this league.
Fair enough, but my point is, I think that he takes care of the ball better than some of the other guys in this league.
I think he'll be a great 5th round pick. I think he'll be right in the middle there every week. The San Francisco doesn't have much going on for him, especially going up against tough defenses.
Yeah, I would agree.
But let's check on our chat here.
Sure.
We've got breaking news, apparently.
Okay.
I'm not sure how valid this is, but Aaron has proposed a rule that if you draft a QB and you do not use a nickname, the pick is invalid. And the commissioner has signed it with emojis and stamped it and approved it.
That is that's an interesting rule change, because there was a long period of time where we had certain people in this league that would not provide a nickname, myself included.
I actually listened to our last podcast, Aaron proposed a rule where it was -5 points if you don't use a nickname. That seems more fair.
That's
than
a lot more
an
conservative.
invalid
Yeah.
pick. But we'll we'll see how that goes.
I don't know what kind of governmental system we're dealing with here,
I don't either.
where someone can propose a rule and then the commission can just sign off on it without input from the rest of the league. I can't say I'm a fan of that.
Yeah.
As somebody who loves to get the input from as many people as possible, I can't say I agree with that. But maybe that's something we'll have to talk about offline.
All right, well, let's speed things up a little bit because you've got to go to the Bengals game tonight.
Of course, yes. And we're going to be seeing maybe 2 picks in this game. 2 bad quarterback league picks in this game.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
Not maybe, definitely.
Oh, for sure, confirmed.
Yeah,
okay.
it's already been picked.
Okay, yeah. So it's very important that I get there and do some scouting.
Yeah, so let's move on to you, who went with Scott Tiny Peen Tolzien.
Oh, man.
Great nickname.
Thank you. I
Great
appreciate
nickname.
that. And, the one thing I was worried about with that nickname was that people would not know how to pronounce Scott Tolzien's name, because it's important to pronounce it Tolzien.
Well, so because you said Peen, I knew it was Tolzien. When I said Tiny Peen Tolzien, that doesn't make any sense.
because everybody reads it as Tolzien
Right.
or something similar. But yeah, it's Tolzien. I actually did a lot of Googling to figure out if that's how you say it, and I was correct. So Scott
You did
Tolzien.
fantastic.
Of course I did.
You
Of
did
course
great.
I did.
We all thought Marianne ran away with this.
And I did too as well.
And then
Because
until I saw Drew comment in the group me that Tolzien was making a play for first, I tuned in.
and you know what? It was a spectacle because he was 9 for 18 for 128, no touchdowns, 2 picks, one of them a pick six, or was it 2 pick sixes?
I don't remember.
I mean, there's so many great things that happened.
All the great
4 sacks
on both sides.
And
Many sides.
yeah, on many sides. And he also fumbled, but it was not a lost fumble as the Colts went down 46-9 against the Los Angeles Rams.
Colts are going to be rough.
Well, when Andrew Luck comes back, it could be a different story.
Right.
But until then, Tolzien, I don't know if he's lost his starting spot, but Jacoby Brissett was put in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
The Colts traded for Brissett right before the season started.
Was he New England's backup?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
The Colts traded for him right before the season started, I assume because they saw Scott Tolzien throw a couple passes in practice and thought,
Just 2
oh,
passes.
shit, we're fucked. So that was probably a good trade for the Colts because I could see Brissett starting from now on.
Wasn't bad on New England. He did fairly solid.
He was
if I remember
competent, yeah.
correctly.
And I think he's clearly the better choice because obviously Tolzien looked like absolute garbage,
Yep.
and Brissett has a little bit of maneuverability in the pocket, which Tolzien just does not have.
That's a good point. If Scott is available next week, take him because he's not going to be available much longer after that.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
Brissett will replace him quickly.
This is a going out of business special right
Yeah,
here
it
on
really
Scott
is.
Tolzien.
It really is. All right, let's see. By the way, how many points did you score there? You got
It was up to 50, I believe.
50.44 with that, and that was the league high. Beat
Yes.
Marianne by less than a point.
Yeah, and that I got to say, Marianne, I was feeling pretty down after watching the Bengals game. Scott Tolzien brought my mood up quite a bit.
Oh, yeah. All right, next up we got Lauren with Mike Gingeraff Glennon. And it makes a lot more sense when Brian posts the picture of that
Yeah,
long
if you don't
neck.
know what Mike Glennon looks like,
Right.
he has a giant neck.
Now, he's starter for the Bears, correct?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He was actually, interestingly enough, there was a big sort of controversy, I believe, reading a couple articles over the offseason because Cutler retired,
Right.
quote unquote retired.
Right.
And Glennon was brought in to sort of be the starter. And then I believe they had another quarterback on their roster who was possibly going to start. And there was a big thing made about this, and he got all pissed off, and then he ended up starting anyway. So again, that's another situation to watch because there could always be a changing of the guard there.
So how did he do last week in terms of numbers?
Glennon was 26 for 40. 213 yards, a touchdown, no picks, 4 sacks, and a fumble.
So a lot of those points came from incompletions.
Yeah, 14.
And Lauren scored 15.74. So
Yeah.
I actually am a little worried about Glenn, and I think he has the opportunity to do well in certain games.
It's all going to – I think it's going to be very defense dependent because the Bears are not going to be a good team this year.
Yeah.
They're going to lose a lot of games. They're not going to be a playoff team. So I think that he'll be a good pick against solid defenses, but he has experience, unlike a lot of these other quarterbacks in the league that are hot picks. He's got games under his belt. He played for Tampa Bay for a while, and he got some starts. So I generally equate that with somebody who's better at taking care of the ball.
But again, that's what, as we talked in the beginning, incompletions are the underrated statistic, and Mike Glennon clearly put up a lot of incompletions. So good on Lauren. Good pick.
Yeah, and the Bears are going to be behind, I think, a lot, so they're going to be throwing the ball a lot. So that's always good.
Oh, apparently, according to the chat,
Tolzien's not
isn't even starting this week. So we've been
well, as I predicted, Jacoby Brissett will be the starter.
There you go. You're so smart, Tony.
Of course.
So smart. Moving on to John, who went with Joe No-Backo Flacco.
Yes, and obviously a reference to Joe Flacco's injured back that many hypothesized that he would not make a start in week 1. Unfortunately for the Bengals, he did.
This was a bad pick for John.
Well, the thing is, Flacco didn't have to do anything because the Bengals beat themselves quite easily. And mostly I would put that blame on the coaching staff. I don't want to hit Andy Dalton too hard because I think a lot of this blame is shouldered on Marvin Lewis.
For sure.
And the offensive line, of course. If anybody...
But we're not talking about the Bengals right now.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We're talking
You're right.
about
We're
Joe
talking about
Flacco,
Joe Flacco.
Okay?
Who
Joe
was,
Flacco got 5.58 points.
Yes, because he hardly threw the ball. He was
He had one interception, right?
Yes, 9 for 17, 121 yards, a touchdown, a pick, and 1 sack. That's it.
Those are average numbers.
The Ravens ran the ball 42 times.
Yeah.
So that's what happens when you're down 17-0 at halftime. If you're the Bengals, the Ravens are just going to run the ball, and they know that the Bengals couldn't get anything going on offense, so they were able to just sit back, and Flacco didn't have to do anything.
Right.
So I can't fault John for that pick. I was excited for the Bengals finally getting their first home opener in, I think, 7 years. The last 7 years they've started the season on the road. So I thought they'd be fired up, ready to go, and it was the absolute opposite.
Did not work out well.
So that was just a bad luck for John there.
So on the other end of that field, we had Marianne, who chose Andy Dalton and got heat immediately after choosing Andy Dalton from the league.
Yes.
And it turned out to be the best. Well, not your pick was the best, but
the
best underdog pick from a newcomer.
Yeah, it was a bold pick. I got to give it up to her. She just walked straight into the fire,
and it worked out well.
Andy Dalton was 16 for 31 for 170 yards, no touchdowns. The big one though, 4 picks, 5 sacks, and a lost fumble.
2 of those picks within 5 yards. 10 5 yards
of the
end zone.
End zone, yeah, and one of them was in the end zone. It was bad. Andy looked bad. He had 0 time to throw. This offensive line is a bunch of Six Flag turnstiles.
Even on some of the time, even when he had time to throw, Andy didn't look great.
No, well, I don't think anybody was getting open. I think Brandon LaFell has more trouble getting open than many other receivers in this league. Now, I will say this week, tonight, in just a few short hours, John Ross, a rookie wide receiver, is starting tonight. So he'll be on the field, which hopefully will maybe give Andy another target, but it's not encouraging. Andy Dalton could be a solid pick going forward this season.
I agree. As big of a name he is, that offensive line is not helping him at all.
And sacks are going to help you. Sacks are they get you points, and that's
why I think tonight Andy Dalton is still a decent pick because Houston, despite their terrible performance in the first,
they got a great defense.
They
know how to rush the passer.
They can sack like nobody's business, and it's Thursday Night Bengals.
Yep.
It's Thursday Night Bengals.
It's going to be very interesting because we have seen Andy come back from bad games and have great games after. But primetime Bengals and primetime Andy.
Your post. And
yes, it's very we got an interesting paradigm going on here. Mm-hmm. So I hope to God they win this game. There's a reason why I've already had 2 beers and will continue to have beers throughout the night is because it could get ugly. So
speaking of. I'm going to tell you the next person, who is Drew, who picked Jared Goff. Did not turn out well for him.
Yeah.
You read some of those stats. I'm going to get us some beers.
Okay.
Okay? Kill some time.
Give me a Rebel IPA, please. All right, so Jared Goff was a pick, a guy who in the podcast last season, I talked about watching Jared Goff on Hard Knocks. And one of the things I took away from Jared Goff on Hard Knocks was that he's not all that smart. And I was very concerned with a NFL team having a quarterback who doesn't have a whole lot of brain power. And you know, I made the caveat that I don't watch a lot of college football. I didn't really watch Jared Goff when he was in college. There seems to be a lot of hype behind Jared Goff this season. I can't say I can completely buy into it yet, but he did look pretty solid. He was 21 for 29 for 306 yards, a touchdown, just one sack. The guy took care of the ball in a game that got away from the Colts very quickly, so it's hard to obviously make an assessment after just one game. And admittedly, I didn't watch any of this game, so I can't even say if he looked good or not. But based on the stats alone, I would say that that's a pretty solid start for Jared Goff. One thing I would want to bring up, though, is that LA seems to have a problem with attendance, which I think a lot of people were anticipating. I don't know if that really affects your quarterback play, but it's kind of disheartening to see a stadium that seems to be half empty when you go in there as a home opener. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I don't know what we're talking about, but I totally agree.
Jared Goff, how many points did he net this week?
Negative. He was the only negative. He got negative 3.12 points.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be an outlier for Mr. Goff. I'm good.
No, I need it.
Okay. Under there. Okay. There's a power strip right there. So Jared Goff, I think, is still going to be a solid choice. I think the Rams might surprise some people this year. I don't think they're going to be a terrible team. I mean, getting rid of Jeff Fisher is obviously always a plus for any team. But Jared Goff's got about a year of experience now. I don't think he started all season last year. He didn't open the year starting, but he's got some experience. He's got some receivers to throw the ball to. Sammy Watkins is a new receiver that was traded over from the Bills, along with Todd Gurley, who's a solid running back, although he was only 40 yards on 19 carries, so not great. But I think the Rams will be okay. That being said, I think Jared Goff against a good defense is going to be a solid pick going forward.
I agree. I mean, he kind of scares me. He's had a couple good weeks last year, and obviously this week, which, you know, I said myself in the group meet, I thought Jared Goff was the steal of the week, coming so low in the draft, but I was totally wrong.
Turns out you were incorrect on that one.
Super wrong. But yeah, you know, that's coming from our champion last year, so it's good to see him so low this week. It gives us all
it's always
chance.
good to get so with Drew being in dead last now, that makes everybody feel like they got a chance,
right,
even though half of you don't.
We don't.
Half of you don't have a shot.
We don't. Moving on to Aaron, who, in typical Aaron style, went with Trevor Creamy Dreamy Butterfart Simeon.
Right, which is a typical. Aaron will add Butterfart to almost anything.
Those are Rocket League names right there.
That's very Rocket League-esque. Trevor Simeon, a guy who I've never thought to be that great of a quarterback. However, last year he surprised me in a lot of games, especially in his very first game where he was very competent and he ended up getting the W for the Broncos. He might be a serviceable quarterback.
I think no matter who you put at the Broncos, they've just got a solid team surrounding him.
Yeah.
And it's as bad as he may be, he's going to have some really good games because of the help that he has.
Well, yeah, when you got Demaryius Thomas, I think is one of the best receivers in the league. That's always helpful. I think C.J. Anderson is a solid running back. He's not one of the best in the league, but he's definitely a workhorse. He's a guy you can give the ball 15 to 20 times a game and feel okay about it. They also got Jamal Charles, who they picked up from the Chiefs last year, who's a veteran presence. Maybe he'll help in the locker room. I know Aaron's big on locker room guys. He talks about having a good presence in the locker room. So Jamal Charles is probably one of those kind of guys. But the Broncos pulled one out against the Chargers. They held them off. The Chargers scored 14 in the fourth, but it wasn't enough. The Broncos won 24-21. Trevor Siemian was 17 for 28 for 219, 2 touchdowns, a pick, 4 sacks.
Aaron only ended up with 4.62 points, though. Those.
Yeah, I think obviously the 2 touchdowns and just didn't get enough incompletions. Siemian was smart with the ball. And it's one of those things. The Chargers just moved to LA. I don't know what their real expectation is this season. Phillip Rivers is kind of a tumultuous quarterback, in my opinion. I think he's got a lot of talent, but there's sometimes when he just has bad games. So I think Simeon's going to be one of those matchup play kind of quarterbacks who it's going to depend on the defense, which I know we've said a lot. But also he's not a guy I'm targeting because every time I watch him, he seems to do a good job of taking care of the ball.
Speaking of Aaron being a douche, by the way, I just want to update everyone in the group me that Aaron invited us all to go watch the game with him tonight. And now, after I've already agreed to do so, he
Austin!
Wow, 2 free tickets. So him and Austin are going to go to the game.
So Aaron saw that you were going to come over, and he was like, "Oh fuck, how do we get out of this?"
Exactly.
Now? Yeah,
that's definitely what happened. Mm-hmm. So, fuck off, Aaron. We're moving on.
Let us know what sex you're in. Maybe I can meet up with you guys.
Fuck all you guys. Fuck off. Anyway, we've got 2 left. We've got Taylor, who went with Tyrod Titty Boy Taylor.
Like it. I like it a lot.
Fucked her over last year. That was her first pick of the season. He was a brand new quarterback. Mm-hmm. None of us knew what he was going to do, and then he lit it up.
He went off.
This year he did okay. He only ended up with 7.52 points. Mm-hmm. Not the greatest, but not the worst thing ever.
Yeah, and I think what hurt Taylor, both Taylors, the most was that he was going up against the Jets, who are widely considered the worst team in the NFL. So
yeah,
it's hard to. I mean, I know they have Josh McCown. He's going to be the guy who's going to be picked. But when you pick a quarterback against the Jets, they're probably going to do okay.
Good point. So Taylor may be a good option in the future, do you think?
I think if he's so I've had Tyrod Taylor on my fantasy team. He was actually traded to me by Aaron Carnevale in another league. I'm a big fan of him, but definitely he has problems against good defenses. He's certainly going to be on the radar this year. What can come back to bite you is that he's a very good runner, and he can definitely hurt you on the ground.
Absolutely.
So I try to stay away from scrambling quarterbacks because you never know when they can bust a 40-yard touchdown and just completely ruin your day. He didn't do that in this game, but he was 16 for 28 for 224, 2 touchdowns, a pick, and just 2 sacks. So he's able to avoid sacks pretty well just based on his ability to run. So that's another thing to keep in mind.
Last but not least, we have Austin with Phil Fuck It Rivers. I like that pick, the nickname, especially for the last pick in the draft.
Yes,
fuck it, whatever.
It works on a lot of different levels. It also interesting that they played the last game of the week, the late Monday night game.
Exactly.
So it was just a complete fuck it. Not a lot of people are watching that football game that starts at 10:15 on a Monday night. Phil,
I thought Phil was a good pick for last. It didn't end up so great for him.
This is a new experience now that we have 12 teams in the league, that those 11 and 12 picks are going to be pretty difficult because a lot of the verifiably bad quarterbacks are going to be taken. All of them are going to be taken. So you're going to have to pick a quarterback who has some pedigree in the league, and Phillip Rivers is one of those. Right. He's a guy who's had a lot of success in the past.
He could have been the Andy Dalton this week. You don't know that.
Absolutely. So Phil Rivers was 22 for 33 for 192. He threw 3 touchdowns, threw a pick, and just 1 sack. So just not really enough going there for Austin. Those 3 touchdowns just kill you. It's really hard to come back from that amount of negative points.
That's pretty rough.
Yep.
But Phil, in the future, he still could be a good pick. If depending on the defense, depending on home or away, all those kind of factors, you never know with Phil. Phil shot put Rivers. That's what I like. The way
and
he throws.
you also have to keep in mind that he has like 6 kids, so there could be some weeks when he's distracted. One of his kids is sick or something, and he has to deal with that.
Right,
so
right.
you have to keep like an eye on what's going on in his personal life as well. You got to
read the news.
Yeah,
for sure. Well, that was everyone.
We want to introduce this new segment.
Yes,
here?
I would love to move on to this new segment.
Okay.
And I'm glad that we have Lauren has joined the podcast and Brian is here. So I hope we still have our viewers because we have a brand new segment, America's favorite game, that I like to call Who's That Quarterback? Okay? So we're going to bring this up on the screen here. And I want some audience interaction because if you can, Tony does not know who this quarterback is.
I have no idea who this is.
I made this up myself today.
Austin's here too, apparently.
Is he really? Great. Mm-hmm. So if you can guess who this quarterback is before Tony does, and we'll try and give a little bit of delay.
Okay.
I will you will get a prize. Okay, you will get your choice of fantastic coupons.
And just so the camera can see this.
There we
go.
Here
are all these coupons. Why don't you tell us about some of these coupons that are on here?
Some great ones. We've got buy a 2 entree plate and get a 3rd free at Panda Express. That
is huge.
Wow.
That's big time.
We've got $7 off an oil change at Valvoline.
Oh, my God. See, I need that. That's something I need.
Who doesn't
when
need
you
that?
lease a car, you guys, you have to make sure that you gotta make sure that you take care of it.
If you own the car, you got to take care of it, Tony. Take
that
care
too.
Of your car.
It just works for anybody's car.
Take care of your fucking car, man. So, okay. So, coupons, man. Pick a coupon. All right, here we go.
You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to guess because I think I should leave this to the
Well, I want
viewers.
some guesses right now. You get one guess.
You get one guess in the chat. Let us know who you think
right
this quarterback
now, just
is.
off of shape alone. I've got some clues coming up, but just off of shape alone.
Now, what I will say, and I've seen, I don't want to cheat or anything, but I have seen this image before we started. Not who the quarterback is. I just mean this image we're looking at right now.
Yeah.
And what I was confused by are these tassels that seem to be coming down
I
from
chose
the
a picture that is not typical.
It's clearly not an in-game picture.
No,
you can kind of tell from the muscles on the arms that it's somebody who's not wearing shoulder pads and maybe wearing like a cutoff T-shirt. So it's probably like a practice or like a pre-game picture.
I wanted to go with something a little out of the ordinary. So
I would also say
Andy Dalton.
Okay, so that's Andy's.
And don't cheat. Don't go Google searching images.
So that's Brian's pick.
Andy is you know what I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say.
Aaron says Jay Cutler.
Okay.
Do we have a pick from Austin or Lauren?
Austin or Lauren?
Because I will say he's got short hair. I can tell from the picture.
Okay.
Austin, I'm not going to read that.
Fine. Austin's the worst.
I'm not going to read that on the pod.
All right, so we'll just move on. We'll go with the first clue. I'm not going to say whether anyone's right or not, but this quarterback. Oh, you have to hit the next button. I don't have.
I should hit it.
Yeah, hit the.
Want to reveal them?
No, you're not going to reveal them. It's going to bring up a slide with the. Last year, this quarterback had 233 incompletions. Think about that. Think about how many points we ended with last year.
Yeah.
And if you chose him every single week. Now, granted, he had some touchdowns and stuff,
sure.
but incompletions alone.
That's a lot of incompletions. That also means he's a quarterback who started probably all season last year.
Oh, Lauren texted me and said Carson Palmer.
Okay.
I'm not going to reveal
Aaron
it.
says Ryan Fitzpatrick, but he already guessed, so unless that's Austin's guess.
Anyway, 233 incompletions. That's amazing.
That's a lot. I would assume he threw probably 600 passes last year then.
I don't know. I don't know that number. But this is someone I want to talk about because this is someone we need to pay attention to, all right? Hit the next button for me.
All right.
He had 4 appearances in our top 3 undrafted last year.
Okay.
No, even last year we didn't care about him, but he still showed up. 2 plus 2 is 4. What does that mean, Aaron?
I don't know. Don't let him distract you.
4 appearances in our top 3 undrafted last year. We didn't take him, and he scored a lot of points.
So 4 weeks he was in the top 3? Is that what you're saying?
Top 3 that we did not draft.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So he was ignored, and he still scored well. So I think, once again, someone we got to look out for. Now, this next stat, he did throw. Go ahead. He did throw 26 touchdowns.
Okay, so he was a starter for a majority of the year.
Yeah.
If not the whole year.
So those 26 touchdowns really brought him down. But he's still someone to pay attention to. Now, those are the only 3 clues. Final guesses. Bring it in.
Wow. I got to go Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton?
I think I'm going to guess Andy Dalton.
Brian already guessed Andy Dalton. So
Yeah.
if it is Andy Dalton, then Brian
Yeah,
wins.
that's fair.
Okay. But Brian guessed Russell Wilson. We're going to give it a little more time if Aaron's going to
We'll let a couple more guesses. Final answers, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire style, please.
Should we do it that way? Should we have you submit your final answer now that we've...
Yes. If you don't
Okay.
submit a final answer, we'll assume that it was the answer that you gave previously. But we will say
Fair.
final answers
Fair.
now, and you have a few seconds to do that.
Fair enough. Final answers coming in. And like I said, I wanted to pick a picture that was a little embarrassing for the quarterback.
Aaron says Stafford.
Stafford.
You geek.
Russ, final answer. Okay. All right, let's reveal.
Aaron clearly looked it up.
Let's reveal. Nope, Carson Palmer.
Oh, it's Carson Palmer.
Lauren wins.
Lauren
Lauren
wins
wins
the first Who's That quarterback.
And look at that picture.
And that is just a glorious picture of Mr. Carson Palmer. Let's maybe make this a little bigger just so you can get an idea of how hideous. Where did you even find this picture,
Just
by
a
the way?
simple Google search.
That is fantastic. I mean, the bra, I think, is what really ties it together.
It's great. And what is that bra made out of? Is that bra pads? Like what?
I don't know. There's holes in it, like it was made for this sort of purpose.
Exactly.
And the bandana around the neck is nice as well.
But anyway, what I want to point out is Palmer this week was our top undrafted. No, I'm sorry. Wait, was he? Yes. He was our top undrafted quarterback again this year. He got 37 points. Palmer's someone we got to look out for, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He had 21 incompletions last week.
The thing is, like, it's so interesting that he still has this aura of being competent after all these years in the league of just being shit.
Yeah. But that's the thing. He did throw 26 touchdowns.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, they throw a lot. Arizona throws the ball a lot.
But
so.
if you can rely on Palmer's incompletions alone and still score good points.
Yep.
Last year, he scored about 212 points for the whole season. So the incompletions took him up there. A couple touchdowns took him down. But if you rode with Palmer the whole way, I don't know what Drew finished with last year. But I think it was in the 260s.
Okay. So you're going to be up there in the thick of it.
Palmer.
Drew finished with 275.
With how much? I'm
275.
Sorry? 275. So Palmer would have put you at, I don't know, 6th place or whatever. But the point is, we need to keep an eye out for Palmer.
Yes.
He's my risky pick. But
your late draft pick.
Late
round pick.
He may be mid-round pick.
Whoa. Palmer, you heard it here first, folks.
Depending on the defense they're going up against, if they're going up against a good defense, I'm picking him.
Fair
enough. I think
that's
what, to wrap this thing full circle, that's what our league needs to start figuring out is we can't pick these shitty quarterbacks in picks 1, 2, 3, and 4. We need to start taking some chances.
Right.
Or else you're going to end up at the bottom of the list every time.
I agree.
And Brian wants us to end with listener Q&As.
That's fair. We can do that.
Let's have them start submitting questions while we talk about other things since there is a delay.
Yeah, and maybe I'll take a quick break to go take a bathroom break.
That's fine. Yeah.
And you guys can ask some questions, and we'll maybe take 5 or 10 minutes and do that. Because pretty soon I got to get rolling down to the Bengals game.
He does. All right, so Tony's going to go take a break. I'm just going to keep shitting on Palmer. That's what I'm going to do. I mean, look at this dude. I don't know, guys. I think as a league, and for you newcomers in the league, take this advice and take some chances. It paid off for Marianne. It did not pay off for Tom. Tom didn't take a chance. He went with Bortles. Not that I think that was a bad choice, but like I'm saying, we need to do our research, and we need to figure out exactly who is going to do terribly that week. Dalton may be another bad pick this week. I mean, even if I'm going through last year and I look at some of the top undrafted, Winston was picked about 3 times in the top undrafted. He scored 56 points in week 2. So we need to look at Jameis Winston. Russell Wilson was in there 3 times, scoring 20 points or more each time. We even saw Tom Brady in week 15 scoring 20 points. So there are definitely big-name quarterbacks out there that aren't getting picked and are scoring a lot of points. So that's my theme of tonight is pick some quarterback that is gonna do something crazy. They're gonna throw a lot of balls, and you're playing it safe if your quarterback is running the ball. It's boring to watch, and it's not gonna pay off. Tony's gonna be a real slow pisser. He's not like me, and Tony can fill time a lot better than I can. So we're waiting on. Let's keep getting these questions coming in. I'm glad we've got some viewers. Here's a question for you, the viewers. I'm going to try and keep that bad 3-step flop Twitter going, and I want to start tweeting at bad quarterbacks and just yelling at them, So give me your best joke or insult that you want to see on the Twitter, and I'll tweet it at the quarterbacks. We're going to go right at them. We're going to get angry. We're going to try and get some sort of reaction.
I heard some talk about how slow I pee over here.
I'm actually really impressed that you're back.
Thank you.
I'm really
Appreciate
impressed.
it. I try to make it quick. For the viewers.
That was fantastic.
What kind of questions we got here? Did I miss some?
I haven't gone over any of them.
Okay, let's do it.
So let's start at the top.
We got 9 minutes.
Brian says, rookie QB with most bad QB upside this year.
Whew.
Well, I mean...
That's a good question.
Savage was rookie, right?
Let me just Google rookie quarterbacks. No,
Yeah.
Savage is not a rookie.
See, I don't even know the rookies.
So
Watson is.
Kaiser is, and Watson is. Those would probably be the two that have the most starter opportunity. CJ Beathard for the 49ers could also take over for Hoyer at some point.
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City. They got Alex
starting.
Smith. So,
Yeah.
and then Mitchell Trubisky.
So really, Watson and Kaiser.
I think Trubisky I mentioned earlier about the Mike Glennon situation where he was upset. I think, he was picked second overall, and I think that's what pissed off Mike Glennon because he thought he was going to be the starter, and they picked this Trubisky guy. So I could see maybe him taking over at some point, but I still got to give it to Kaiser. I think Kaiser's going to be the worst as far as stats go. I think that he'll score the highest out of any of the rookie QBs.
I am stats in our league.
Of course, it's always framed from a point of our league.
Oh, wow, that's tough, man. That's really tough. Since I haven't seen Watson play yet, I'm gonna go Watson.
Okay.
Because I just don't think he has anyone to work with.
Yeah.
Houston's going to rely on their defense all year long, and I think Kaiser has the potential if they're not going up against a really solid D. So it's a tough pick, but I'm going to go Watson.
It's fair. Watson. That's fair enough.
Okay, so let's go with what's the next one here. Oh, Brian already gave us those options, and he pointed that out.
Well, good. We picked the two. We did. People he said.
Aaron says, "How pissed are you that we got free tickets to the Bengals game?" Aaron, no joke, I'm really pissed.
Fuck yourself, dude.
Go fuck yourself.
But also, let me know what section you're in because I want to hang out with you guys.
I'm really pissed. Brian and Lauren, are you guys still down to hang out? Because I'm down. So. Well,
Lauren says, when do your dicks come out? This is supposed to be a live cam. That's a good question as well. And I will say there's a reason why I bought a 1080p camera, and it's because the only way to experience this dick is in full 1080p HD. And I'll leave it at that.
Just enough beers. Lauren, do not tempt me. Most bad QB. Oh, that's not even a question. Aaron's just talking. That's all the questions we had.
Yeah, that's it. That's all we got. So we appreciate the viewer interaction. I think episode 1 went pretty well.
I really do.
I like this new format. I think it's loose. I think it's light. I think that we could definitely expand on these segments. I think Who's That Quarterback was a big hit.
I want to come up with new stuff, though. I don't want this to be every week.
Hey, it's all open. We have a third mic that's available, so we can always have guests on.
Send in segment suggestions.
Definitely send in any sort of suggestion that you might have. And yeah, I think it's time to wrap it up and get my ass to the Bengals game.
I think it is. So with that, this has been the 3-Step Flop. My name is Gator Shrand.
And my name is Tony DeLatel.
Have a good night, y'all.
All right. Let's end the stream, man.
Dude, that went really well.